This is BBC Scotland, where it's time for your daily news roundup with Sarah McMillan on The 7.
Tonight, more weather warnings for ice and snow could mean disruption for the morning commuters as the winter holidays draw to a close. And American billionaire Elon Musk calls for Nigel Farage to be replaced as leader of Reform UK. Hello and welcome to The 7. Weather warnings for ice and snow are in place across much of Scotland tonight, and they're set to run until tomorrow lunchtime, making the morning commute challenging for those returning to work after Christmas. However, some people were determined to make the most of the last day of the holidays, as Richard Forbes has been finding out.
A blanket of snow across the borders, bringing families out to play. Even this pregnant mum stopped off en route to the Borders General.
We're on the way to the hospital to get induced because we're having twins. So we're just going down to the Borders for that. And thought we'd stop and build a snowman on the way.
Ready to go.
We're just out and about. We just wanted to find some snow to play in, and we found this spot, which is pretty good because no one else around and it's fairly deep.
While families might be having fun this afternoon, tomorrow sees most of them returning to school and work after the festive break. That means roads and railways are expected to be busy for the morning commute.
Network Rail will have colleagues out and about across the country at the key locations to de-ice, for lack of a better phrase, the railway. Network Rail have also got special winter trains that can check lines and clear them of snow if that's required. So we're prepared and we're hoping to operate a full service tomorrow morning. The challenge in this kind of job is mainly the traffic during busy periods to try and get the grit down and people tailgating and getting too close to you. Everybody's in too much of a rush, but apart from that, it's nothing too much.
And although the gritters are working round the clock to keep the roads clear, we're all being encouraged to help the elderly get around safely.
We want to make sure that folks aren't at greater risk of trips or falls, because actually that's the last thing they need, and the last thing our NHS needs right now is people are appearing in hospital with damaged hips and legs. So if we can do those simple things, but clearing paths, clearing pavements and making sure they're well gritted in our own communities, I think that'll have a big impact on people's lives.
With weather warnings covering much of Scotland until tomorrow lunchtime, it looks like the snow is set to stay for a while longer. Richard Forbes, BBC News.
Meanwhile, heavy snow and freezing rain is also causing widespread disruption right across the UK. An amber weather warning for snow is still in place across northern England and parts of the Midlands, meaning there is a potential risk to life. A number of airports were also closed for several hours in order to clear snow from the runways. Well, in other news this evening, a 20-year-old man has been charged over an alleged threat to an airport which led to flights being briefly grounded. Kirkwall Airport in Orkney suspended operations yesterday following a report of a threatening communication. Emergency crews attended, but it was later deemed the threat was not credible. The man is scheduled to appear at Dundee Sheriff Court tomorrow. And reports from central Gaza say at least 10 people were killed there in Israeli strikes overnight. Hamas officials say 88 people have been killed in the past 24 hours and estimate that more than 200 people have been killed in attacks since Thursday. Israel insists it is targeting Hamas fighters. Now, Elon Musk has called for Nigel Farage to be replaced as the leader of Reform UK just weeks after reports the billionaire was considering donating millions of pounds to the party. A rift emerged between the pair this week when Mr Farage distanced himself from Mr Musk's support for the jailed far-right activist Stephen Yaxley-Lennon, also known as Tommy Robinson. Helen Catt has this report.
Nigel Farage has been keen to publicise the support he's had from the world's richest man. Here they were, photographed together last month. There'd been talk that Mr Musk was considering donating money to Reform UK. In a broadcast this morning, Mr Farage said his backing brought other benefits.
He may well give us money. Whether he does or not, I'll tell you what he gives us. With huge numbers of young people, he makes us look cool.
Is the reason you hope he's going to give you money, is that why you don't want to criticise him?
I think I've made it perfectly clear that I don't agree with everything he stands for, but I do believe in free speech. I think he's a hero, and I said that well before any potential money was offered.
But this afternoon, the tech billionaire appears to have turned on Mr Farage, posting on his social media site X, "The Reform Party needs a new leader. Farage doesn't have what it takes." The rift seems to have come over Mr Musk's support for far-right activist Stephen Yaxley-Lennon, also known as Tommy Robinson. Responding to Mr Musk's post this afternoon, Mr Farage said, "Well, this is a surprise. Elon is a remarkable individual, but on this I'm afraid I disagree. My view remains that Tommy Robinson is not right for reform, and I never sell out my principles." Mr Musk has in recent days posted a series of inflammatory messages about senior Labour politicians on the issue of grooming gangs. He's accused the Prime Minister of complicity and called the Minister Jess Phillips a rape apologist after she declined to hold a government-led inquiry into child sexual exploitation in Oldham.
It is a disgraceful smear. Keir Starmer and Jess Phillips, by the way, who've both been on the receiving end of completely ill-judged and ill-founded criticism, are people who have done, in their professional lives, more than most people will ever do to lock up paedophiles, rapists, wife-beaters and every other kind of scumbag in our society.
There have been several inquiries into child sexual abuse, including in Rotherham in 2014, in Telford, and a 7-year national review that published its final report in 2022. Labour says the Tories didn't put in place the recommendations of that review. The Conservatives argue it wasn't robust enough.
The Grooming Gangs Task Force that Rishi Sunak set up has led to over 500 arrests of gang rape perpetrators, but has also uncovered this problem has not finished. And that's why it's, because of those reasons, that's why it's so important we now have a proper national statutory inquiry looking at all of this.
Take over, Elijah, take over.
When Donald Trump returns to the White House later this month, Elon Musk will be with him. His influence will increase even more, a development which will be watched closely by politicians here who are now dealing with the tricky consequences of his unpredictable interventions.
As you can see, Helen Catt with that report there. Now, nearly 4 in 10 people registered with an NHS dentist here in Scotland have not seen one in 2 years. That's according to a Freedom of Information request. The figures requested by the Scottish Liberal Democrats also found that 80,000 children have not seen a dentist in 5 years. The Scottish Government says significant investment in NHS dentistry is supporting high volumes of treatment, but the Lib Dems say more needs to be done.
Well, since this dental crisis emerged, the Scottish Government have tried to hide from it by saying 95% of people are registered with a dentist. But it's clear from our research that people are really struggling to get an appointment. They're finding it harder and harder to register with an NHS dentist. And as a result, are resorting to buying tools on Amazon, doing the work themselves.
Now, the first big film awards of the season takes place tonight. The Golden Globes in Los Angeles, Wicked and Conclave are in the running for the top prizes. And a win at the Globes can boost a film's profile as BAFTA and Oscar voters are deciding who they'd vote for. Emma Vardy now reports.
The Golden Globes kicks off Hollywood's awards season with what's known as the biggest party of the year. And I've been getting a little look at how the celebrities get ready.
Put this one on.
But first, the runners and riders.
Here we go.
You're green. I am.
Wicked, The Wizard of Oz reimagined, has been spellbinding audiences as a stage show for 2 decades. Now, as one of the biggest films of the year, it could win Best Musical or Comedy at the Globes, with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande up for acting awards.
Are you English?
No, I'm not English.
But the surprise standout with the most nominations is Emilia Perez, a film about a transgender Mexican drug lord. Kate Winslet is nominated for her roles in the film Lee and TV's The Regime, while Daniel Craig and Ralph Fiennes are both up for Best Actor. Denzel Washington has his 11th Golden Globes nomination for Gladiator 2. But awards season is about much more than the accolades. It's a chance for celebrities and designers to make their mark on the red carpet. So stylists like Jeran are busy behind the scenes.
How you look, the appearance is the most important thing on red carpet.
How do you decide what dress a celebrity should wear?
I work according to their personality, their style. You imagine it first, and then when you see it on the red carpet, and then when people love it or like it, you feel satisfied. Do this now.
Having a dress is one thing, but it's nothing without the right pose. Because even if you're not walking away with an award, getting snapped with a memorable look on the red carpet
next
will mean media attention in magazines and keep celebrities in the spotlight.
Sky's the limit.
And the night can also hold clues for who may do well at the Oscars later in the season. Emma Vardy, BBC News, Los Angeles.
OK, well, it's on to sport news now, and you know the drill by now. Sports Scene is on in just a couple of minutes, so it's your time to look away if you're avoiding the scores. Hibs twice came from behind against Rangers to get a draw in a 6-goal thriller at Easter Road. Rangers were 2 up in the first half, but were eventually pegged back for a share of the spoils. Well, elsewhere, Motherwell continued Aberdeen's wretched run, beating them 2-0. And Celtic got back to winning ways with a 3-0 win over St Mirren, meaning they extend their lead at the top of the table to 13 points. Hearts got an important 3 points on the road at Dundee United, while Ross County won by the same 1-0 score at Kilmarnock. And St Johnstone had another difficult day at home, losing 3-1 to Dundee. OK, time to get a bit more on the weather forecast now and all those warnings. Here's Callum.
Hello there, folks. Further snow and ice warnings from the Met Office into tonight and indeed tomorrow. We've seen snow across southern parts, and in the north, well, we had some glorious winter sunshine, but also cold. Some glens didn't get higher than -8 through the course of the day. We've had this front across southern Scotland producing the snowfall. That will tend to intensify into tonight, as will the shower distribution coming into the east and northeast of the North Sea. So further sleet and snow to come for many of us, certainly above ground, above 100 to 200 metres. So if we look at the snowfall warning here from the Met Office, covering areas near and east of the M74, perhaps 2 to 5 centimetres to low levels, but it's really over the uplands where we could see a further 10, maybe up to 20 centimetres of snow piling in. Into the east and northeast, that's where the convection will become increasingly widespread into tonight. A few centimetres possible to low levels above 200 metres, so we could see in excess of 10 centimetres. Snow levels tonight mainly above 100 to 200 metres. It will vary with intensity. We could bring it down a little bit higher towards the coast, so it may be as high as 300 to 400 metres. You can see it becoming increasingly more widespread, the wintry precipitation across southern, eastern and northern Scotland as the night wears on. Driest in the west, the deepest cold across northwestern glens of Scotland, -9, -10, although tending to recover into tomorrow morning with more wind, more showers here. So tomorrow we'll see that wintry mix of rain, sleet and snow across northern areas and stretching down eastern areas too. Again, the snow level mainly above 100 to 200 metres. In an intensity across northern areas it may drop towards sea level, and wherever you are, bitterly cold, driest in the west, and something a wee bit brighter edging in later in the day. And then into tomorrow night, it will all clear to the east. Showers will arrive in the north, which will fall as snow, and we'll see further ice and snow. Through the week, it's remaining very cold. Northerly winds bringing further snow showers, significant at that, into the north, but lots of sunshine further south, and very cold at night. That's you up to date on the weather front.
Well, for the final time, that is all from us here on The 7. Our new programme begins tomorrow on BBC Scotland at the same time. Join us then. Bye-bye.